Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Queen Auset here. I have been missing. Quiet, silent, but I've been here watching your content and your interactions and your conversations. I've been enjoying them. I, like many people, needed a respite. My cup had one drop left in it. You know, it's one thing to sit in your living room and watch events unfold, and then it's another to actually watch the events unfold in your backyard. So, needless to say, handling PTSD was something that was quite prevalent for me for the past few weeks. Over the past several months, one thing had been layered on top of another, on top of another, on top of another. But we're in a new month now. And I am here to continue on with a bit more information about my depth year. So what did I do in January? Did I sew anything? No. Did a lot of detoxing, cleansing, removing, cutting away. You see, a few months ago, when I had a discussion about Kalima, I opened myself to embrace the energy of that which cuts through the bullshit. You see before you my Weaver's card for the month of January. And I know at the end of last year, I have been called to start working with the Weavers on a monthly basis and the quote-unquote dark goddesses through this year. Not a month, not a few months, but every month for this year in 2021. And I have been thoroughly enjoying that still, quiet time. See, unfortunately, many people take quietude and stillness for passivity. How unfortunate for you. You think that when we become quiet, that we are a target or become easy targets. You may not want to make that mistake. Be mindful of those who are sitting quietly. So, with this Weaver, the sun, of course, me being a child of a sun, well, she talks about using the harvest kiss, this, to prune away, cut down, and do whatever is necessary. All I kept hearing was, cut through the bullshit. Do not tolerate the crap anymore. You are not standing alone. There are many who will make an attempt to come for you. Do not worry. You will not falter. And I sat with the Kali Oracle. A few cards anyway. That one. and that one. Got the card number 9. She wields the holy sword of divine severance, empowering the soul in radical letting go. She instills the courage to bear the pain of loss and the wisdom to realize the secret blessing that can only arise when we embrace change. Where our strength of will may falter, she intervenes to ensure we do not sabotage our ultimate fulfillment and spiritual progress. She will not allow our souls to be ensnared in any kind of deception or trapped in fear. She is the liberator, and her sword clears the path, revealing truth. So we know that the sword does what? It severs, it breaks, it destroys. And then, of course, that card that created or stemmed a discussion, a worthy discussion of transformation. The video responses that were done by Natalie Sanskrit Blue and Azriel Fresnero. Yeah. So, you don't have much of a choice to embrace this energy when your card of the year is that. Too much light for you? The Death card. When your card of the year is the Death card, you don't have much of a choice but to release, be in that place of releasing and letting go. And as I've always said about my mama, Oya, she is the ultimate transformer. You don't get to decide what you want to let go or transform. When you invite her in, she changes, cuts away, releases anything that she thinks will be a block to your growth and the fulfillment of your purpose. February 1st is her feast day. Children of Oya are often misunderstood, but that's okay. It is not up to me to get you or help you to understand who I am. There are many things in this universe that we don't understand. I am but a simple human being, here to fulfill my own purpose. I don't mind being criticized. I don't even mind being judged. You are not sending me a check. You are not keeping my lights on. Judge away. Criticize away. You come here of your own volition. I asked you, when you come to visit my home, that you do so with a level of respect. You don't have to like what I'm saying, but then there are a gazillion other places that you can go. Now, I've gotten some interesting comments. And what I will do with each of those comments moving forward, I will report them as abusive and hate-filled. So now let's get on with Depth Year, Part 2, Queen Auset style. So, when I left off, asking ourselves some questions about why we do the things we do. FOMO, fear of missing out, that's real. So, depth here part two. Decide what you want to do. If you see a deck, buy it. But then before you do, ask yourself why. Why do you need it? Why do you feel you should have it? Why do you want it? So now we move on to these resolutions that we make for ourselves, especially when we talk about doing a depth year. Let's see. We get caught up in the annual wiping the slate clean feeling. New year, new me. I'm going to try something different. Well, for me, the new year doesn't begin until the spring equinox. The Yoruba New Year doesn't begin until May, June. And my solar year is not until July. So frankly, January and February, part of February, are actually days when I prepare myself. I'm still in the energy of the last year. The only thing that has changed is the date on the calendar. Today, I'm looking at snow. It's still wintertime as far as I'm concerned. Nothing has changed. Nothing has shifted. Okay. So, let's say I'm going to stop buying, or I buy less. But by saying that, does that provide a roadmap? Are you not going to buy that deck or that fabric? Because what? What happens when you see it's on sale? Will you be able to resist it then? You know that our minds respond negatively to deprivation and self-denial. And self-denial is usually a recipe for failure. This sort of restriction is pitting willpower against a basic psychological need. And when willpower fades, which it will eventually, you revert to binging. Okay? So, instead of buying less or not buying, that phrasing, just really take a moment within yourself, within your soul, to decide, okay, do I really need this? Now, you're talking to someone, when someone is speaking to you. I packed up pretty much all of my decks at the end of last year. I just got tired of seeing most of them around me. I packed everything away into bins, well, as much as I could. I left a few decks out. I have several decks coming in from Kickstarter. And because I'm in retail, I will have access to mass market decks. So it's not like I will not have any decks coming in. But I'm also in a place where I'm going to start moving decks out. And I'm going to get to that in a second. Right? It's kind of like sewing, which I talked about what I want to get back to. Oftentimes, many sewers, anyone who creates, we don't create for where we are right now. We don't create for the bodies that we have right now. We don't enjoy where we are right now. We create for an ideal. But you should only be striving for the best version of yourself. So, before you buy your deck, I just want you to think about this. Think about these things. Is this something that is practical? Is it right for your life? Is it right for your lifestyle? Is it functional? Is it useful? I have several astrological decks and several moon decks. Like, how many moon decks do you need, and how many astrological decks do you need? Right? Am I really going to learn anything from it? Am I going to learn anything from having another Rider-Waite-Smith clone, another TDM, another thought-based deck? Am I really going to learn anything new? This is just a personal question. These are just personal questions for me that I'm sharing with you. When it comes to my sewing, I do ask, do I have time to make it? Do I have time to do the testing and making a toile? You know, can I work with it, a particular pattern straight out of the packet? Do I need to study it? Do I have the time to learn more about this deck or this pattern? Am I willing to make the investment? Remember, I said in the first video that I bought these classes, Tom Benjamin's class, and I haven't sat down with it yet. I have classes with Ethany. You know, I've taken classes with Kelly Fitzgerald. I had to make that commitment because it was live. That's one way to get you to take the class. Get involved in a live class, a pre-recorded class. You can put it on the back burner and say, okay, I'll get to it when I have that moment. Also, when you buy a deck, you can ask, is it within my skill level? And then ask, can you acquire the skill? Again, that goes back to taking the class. Maybe you don't have the time. You know, Lenormand decks, dice, all of these things start to build up around us. Do we have the time? Do we have the commitment to learn a new skill? Do you want to? And do you have the resources to do so? And this is only you can become honest with yourself in that regard. Do you have the resources? And will you enjoy it? Will you enjoy that deck? Will you enjoy making that item? Because all the love and the energy, everything that you put into attaining that deck, and I've done this. I have gotten plenty of decks in my hands, anticipating the arrival. And then you get it, and it's like, why? Why? Okay. So, one other thing that I want to address is mindfulness. Mindfulness is one of those words or those terms that's being used a lot. It has been used a lot in the spiritual community. And yet, I feel that mindfulness is only applied to certain aspects of one's life that I see. Because you can't speak of being mindful and have it not radiate across the board in regards to everything that you do. You know, mindfulness is not just one way. It doesn't have one approach. It's we have to be a little bit more intentional, more focused. Mindfulness to me means maintaining a moment by moment awareness of our thoughts, feelings, bodily sensations, surrounding environments through a gentle, nurturing lens. Mindfulness also involves acceptance, meaning that we pay attention to our thoughts and feelings without judging them, without believing, for instance, that there's a right or a wrong, that there's a right or a wrong way to feel in any given moment, that there's a right or wrong way for another person to feel. When I do A deck walkthrough, it is how I feel. It's my experience that I am sharing with you. I am only bringing my experience and sharing it through my lens. When we practice mindfulness, our thoughts tune into what we are sensing in the present moment rather than being lost in our minds, rehashing the past or imagining the future. Stay present. This is not something that you should only apply to one section of your life. If you are not practicing mindfulness in your life in general, then just applying it to any one particular area in your life is superficial at best. Mindfulness is cultivated as a way of living, and hence it flows into everything that you do. There are so many great and wonderful benefits to cultivating a mindfulness practice. If you're looking for broad benefits, there are many types of meditation that you can do that could help you cultivate positivity, energy, and focus. Whichever meditation you're likely to stick with is probably your best choice. What I would like 2021, I would like us collectively to be a bit more intentional about how we engage with each other. I keep talking about this need to continuously tear one another down. You don't need to use me as your footstool. You don't need to come at me with your half-assery. You need to be intentional about what it is that you want to do and the reason why. In 2021, I no longer want to be referred to as a hashtag or an acronym. I'm a woman. I'm a black woman. I'm not trendy. I'm not trending. Don't get on the bandwagon just because. Come to me as another sincere human being. We don't always have to agree on everything. But the one thing we can agree on is to respect each other and each other's opinions and be open to listening and hearing to what another person has to say. Stay present. I know I'm rambling a little bit, but I spent a few weeks thinking this over and over and over. You know, I have become angry. These hashtags and these acronyms, they make me angry because these labels, so important for human beings to label everything. I didn't ask for those labels. Get to see me as a human being first. As a woman, as a black woman. I'm not an acronym. I'm not a hashtag. I'm going to leave you with that. maybe perhaps how we can stay present. See, a few weeks ago, I witnessed something that was very ugly. Something about that saviorship mentality is very undermining and egregiously ugly. And then on the other end of the scale, there are those who want to make sure others stay in their place. What is depth here for you? When I come back with part 3, we'll have a little more fun. But this is where I am right now. I guess maybe depth here for me is about being mindful and having it spread over every area of my life. My card for the year, as I said, is the death card. My word for the year is unapologetic. The only thing I'm asking you to do right now is to stay present. So, I have this little deck, and I am going to leave you with 3 questions until we meet again. And hopefully it won't be too long. Question number 1. What is your mission in life? Question number 2. What do you think about immediately upon waking? And question number 3. How has the place that you grew up shaped you? And there you have it. I'll see you all later.